Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. So as promised, today I'm going to do a video on how I started my tenderpreneurship journey. I hope that this video is going to help someone who is a beginner in the tenderpreneurship journey. So stay tuned and good luck. So I started my tenderpreneurship journey in the year 2014. Back then, there was not already information out there on how to start this business. You had to go from office to office looking for these documents. You had to do a lot of research, both online and through the people who are already in the business. And I must tell you that this is one of the most selfish businesses out there. People do not just divulge information, and people don't just lead you into it. You really have to struggle. You really had to put work into it, and it was hectic back then. But right now, with the advanced technology and devolved government, at least there is a lot of civic education going around. There is no excuse. Anybody can do it. So for me, it took me almost 1 year to finally put my documents together and be ready to start making applications without being sent back and forth. And yeah, today I'm going to share some of my knowledge in this business. I believe it's going to help somebody who is also trying to, get into this business. And in case you need more information on this, you can always contact me in the email address I'm going to leave in the description link below. So let's get into it. So first of all, let's describe what a tender is. So basically, a tender is an invitation by governments and other private institutions to take over projects and supplies on their behalf, of course, for a certain amount of markup. So this has to be submitted in a certain finite deadline. So now let's talk about the types of tenders. So number one, there is the general supplies. This is where you supply anything that is tangible, from stationery to office equipment, office furniture. All those fall under the general supplies category. Number two, we have the events and events management tenders. These are when you contract a company to manage your events. So this could range from graduation ceremonies to annual shareholders meetings, depending on the event. Could even be as institutional based sports ceremonies. All those events fall under that category. Number three, we have professional services and consultancy. This includes offering services, professional services like legal services, medical services, could be insurance services, could be videography. All those fall under professional services and consultancy. Number four is agribusiness. These are tenders that involve supplying agricultural products, farm produce in large scale. Number five, we have small works and constructions. This involve tenders of, maybe building classrooms, building roads, building bridges. All those fall under small works and construction. So now, what do you need to start an entrepreneurship business? First and foremost, number one, you need a company. The government and private institutions do not trade with individuals, but they trade with companies. So the first thing you need is to register a company. There are two ways to register a company that we're going to talk about today. First of all, you can register a business name, or you can register a private limited company. So what do you need to start your business name registration? One, you'll need your identification card. You'll need your KRA PIN certificate. You will need your passport photograph. You'll also need an email address, and then you'll also need to access an eCitizen portal. So the first step in registering the business is name search. You have to get into the eCitizen portal, follow the prompts, do the name search first of all, It takes about 2 to 3 working days, and it costs around 150 shillings. So once you do the name search, after about 2 to 3 working days, you'll get a message in your phone informing you whether your name search has been approved. Once the names have been approved, you go back to the eCitizen portal and now do the the actual registration. You'll have your documents because you'll have to submit copies, and you'll also have to download, print, sign the document. You'll also need to scan it back and resend it. Also remember to have some money in your M-Pesa because you'll be required to pay 850 shillings for registration, and they pay via a pay bill. So make sure you have some money in your M-Pesa. So in total, business name registration costs about 1,000 bob. So the second type of company is a private limited company. With this one, you also need the same documents. You'll need your national identity card, you need your KRA PIN certificate, you'll need some passport photographs, you'll need some your email address, you will also need your what else? You'll need to access the eCitizen portal, and it's the same procedure. You do the name search, which is 150 Kenya shillings. After the names have been approved within the 2 to 3 working days, you come back and do the registration. But with this one, with the private limited company, the price for registration ranges between 10,000 and 25,000. So you'll need to do some research on who can do it within your budget. When you're done with the registration, you wait for about a week or so. If you had done a business name registration, they're going to send the business name certificate in your email address, so you'll get a soft copy in your email. Just keep on checking and checking and checking. Sometimes it takes 1 week, sometimes it could take even 2 weeks if there is a backlog in the department. So for the private limited company, they're also going to send the documents in your email as soft copies. They are going to send you a certificate of incorporation and CR12 document, which is basically a confirmation of the list of the directors and the shareholding in the company. If you are registering a partnership, remember that each and every partner will also need to submit their signature. Each and every partner will also need to submit all the documents required. So make sure you have all the documents together before you start the registration. It makes work so easier. So once you have all these documents, you're now set to now start looking for the other documents. If you had registered a partnership, make sure the first thing you do is get a partnership deed. A partnership deed is basically a constitution governing, the whole partnership thing. And you can get one from a lawyer of your choice. Make sure you get one within your budget because some of these lawyers charge by the grain. So now you have your business registration certificate and you're ready to do business, but there are other requirements that are always asked for while applying for tenders. You will need to attach them. So number one is the company PIN. If you are a sole proprietor, you really don't have to get a company PIN. You can use your own personal. If you are in partnership, then you need to get a company PIN, which is you get one through the KRA portal, the iTax department. Number two, you'll need a tax compliance certificate, also obtained through the KRA portal. Number three, you will need to have your company profile. A company profile is the face of your company. It's like a catalog that describes your company, what it does, the services you offer. All the services are listed, all the achievements are listed over there. So while doing your company profile, make sure it is as attractive as possible, because on a boardroom table of around 30 other company profiles, you'd want yours to stand out and get higher chances of being pulled out. And you never know where your luck lies. So try as much as possible to make it as attractive and professional as it can be. So number 4 is the AGPO certificate. AGPO simply stands for Access to Government Procurement Services. It's an institution that was established in 2013, which enables special groups to access government procurement opportunities. Once you have the AGPO certificate, you can easily access the tenders that are always reserved for the special groups, which are the youth, the women, and the persons living with disability. So these reserved tenders don't normally go through the intense scrutiny that the others in the open category do. They're a bit lenient to the special group. So number 5, you will need a business permit, which you go to the city hall and apply for one. So number 6, you'll need a confirmation of business address. For this, you can provide your utility bill or your landlord's contract, one that shows the plot number. Number 7, you'll need a business bank account registered under the same name as your business. Number 8, you'll need an ETR machine. Now, be very careful when purchasing an ETR machine. Make sure you're doing it from a KRA approved dealer, because in the recent years there has been a lot of scamming, and these machines cost between 15,000 to 30,000 or even higher. That's a lot of money to lose, so be very careful. Make sure it is KRA approved. So number 9, you will need an IFMIS number. What is IFMIS? IFMIS is an online government portal aimed at tracking the financial management of government institutions. I'll talk about this a bit later when I tell you where to use the IFMIS number. So once you have all these documents, you can now start printing your books of accounting, the delivery note, invoice and receipt books, quotation books, receipts. Which one else? Maybe if I remember the other one, I will list it somewhere here. You'll also need your business cards, you'll need your logo, you'll need your letterheads, you'll need your rubber stamps, etc. After that, depending on your specialty, you may need to have additional certification from certified boards. Examples of these are like the NCA from the National Construction Authority if you are doing small works and construction. You'll need WIBA for your employees, especially if you're doing tenders like events management or catering or others. You may need NEMA. You may need ERC from the Electoral Regulatory Commission if you're doing electrical contracts. You may need IRA if you're doing insurance services, etc, etc. From there, we now go to the actual tendering process. There are 2 ways. There is the manual way and there is the e-procurement. So let's start with the manual way of application. There are 2 available procedures. 1 is the pre-qualification, 2 is the bidding process. So for the pre-qualification, the tendering entity is going to do a prior registration of suppliers for a certain period. If you're qualified, you're going to be listed as a supplier of a certain company. So the second type of manual application is by bidding. Bidding is when you directly apply for tenders without necessarily having been pre-qualified. So you just see a tender advert and you apply without being pre-qualified. So if you want to get pre-qualified, what do? First step is go to the website and download the tender document labeled pre-qualification of suppliers, the most recent one. Just check the dates when downloading. Number 2, read and reread the tender document carefully. Make sure you have all the documents they require. Make sure you understand what they need from you. Make sure you understand the instructions. Make sure you know the deadline of submission. Read and reread again and again until you understand it. Number 3, fill it out. Attach all the required documents. Seal it in an envelope. Labeled it correctly, showing the tender number and address. and then drop it where you have been instructed. Most of the time, the drop-off point is always placed strategically outside the tendering institution. So you'll find a box there, you just drop your tender document. So away from the manual procurement procedure, there is also the e-procurement procedure. Now this is where you utilize your IFMIS number to get into your Kenya Suppliers Portal. The Kenya Suppliers Portal is the direct link between the government and suppliers. So this is where you'll also get the adverts, you'll also get tendering information. This is also where you can direct your complaints. So whenever you're doing any tender application, make sure you have read the instructions, make sure you have understood whether you are required to do the manual way or the e-procurement way. Most companies will always describe the procedure they prefer. So if you are pre-qualified and you are listed as a supplier in a certain company, you will receive in your email address a document called RFQ. This RFQ stands for Request for Quotation. So all you have to do is respond to the RFQ by quoting your prices and other expenses that you may incur while doing the supply. So once you have responded to the RFQ, all the RFQs will be collected and placed in front of a panel that is going to analyze, scrutinize, and come up with a winner. Now, this is when you hear someone say, I have won the tender. If you happen to win the tender, they'll send you a mail with clear instructions on how to go about it. All you have to do is execute the instructions, do the supplying of the tender items in question, and wait for your payment. Normally, the payments come between 30 days and 120 days later, depending on the agreement on your contract. So that's why you also have to read carefully and understand what the contract entails. So that is just about it. If I were to give advice to anyone starting out the tenderpreneurship business, I would gladly advise you to start in the AGPO category, because there's a whole lot of benefits in the AGPO category as compared to the open category. Make use of that opportunity. I have come to the end of this video. Feel free to ask any questions, give suggestions, corrections. Your feedback in any form is always highly appreciated. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more of such informative videos besides my usual lifestyle vlogs. So with that said, let's meet on the next video.